Behind me is the James Hardie Aspyre product. I've had a lot of great comments on our install here. It's turned out beautifully with the deep shadow lines, rigidity of the product itself. It's just a great install we've had here with this Artisan product. We're going to talk about some of the design benefits of this product, a little bit technical install tips, and painting and protecting the product after you've installed the James Hardie Artisan product. Before we get into a little bit more details, we're just going to segue into a short video.
Tranquility, craftsmanship. What can your siding express? James Hardie Aspyre Siding.
So why we chose Aspyre for this project was for a couple of details and some functionality and just overall beauty of this landscape behind us too. We were trying to get a wood grain feel, and we also wanted the mitered corners. The architect really wanted that design feature in this house, and I think it turned out great. There's a couple of benefits that come with an Aspyre thicker Hardie board, right? You're looking at a 5/8 thickness compared to a 7/16 thickness of a regular Hardie plank board. Naturally, the thickness of your siding will determine how much water it can peel off and how it peels off, right? So a 5/8 thick piece of siding can drip edge better than a smaller piece of siding. Naturally, it's just a beautiful product. It really turned out well here. You could do numerous things with it, where you have a lap siding option, which is here, and then you also have a non-lap siding, which is a little bit more of a conventional look. I think a lot of the V-groove option is a really cool option that we looked at as well for here, and that it just turns out beautiful, and we've installed on a couple of other houses as well. And that's non-lapped. So you can keep your 5/4 1-inch trim boards around your entire house and just really flare up all the corners with mitered finished edges. Let's get into some of the technical things that have really helped us out on this build. Some of the things that you're going to be able to do with the James Hardie Artisan, different than a 7/16 plank, right, is mitered corners. This is a mitered corner. This is a compound miter. It's a little bit different than a lot of the Aspyre products you're going to see in all the design pictures online and stuff on Hardie.com. Is just a typical 45-degree miter, which is not going to be that crazy technical to install on a house. But when you do the mitered corners, there's a couple of things you need to remember. This aluminum flashing, they require 3 to 6 inches from the corner. You're going to have a thicker piece of siding, right? So that flashing piece is going to have to be a little bit larger, right? It's okay to go an inch and a half on this flashing piece, depending on what your material is below your siding. Right here is rock, but we made this into a 20 gauge broke piece of metal as our starting point for this flashing, and it's just a great detail, and it turned out beautiful. Your ends and your mitered corners as well, it's just going to require a little bit more attention to those. So you're going to want to put some OSI caulking. That's what we did here on this. It turned out really nice. You want to seal those edges as much as possible. You do it all correctly, and you go into the stall and you follow the install instructions by Hardie. It's warranty for 30 years. Let's talk about painting and protecting the product after install. You're not going to want to go past 180 days. You're going to get a 100%, actually they spec out a premium 100% acrylic paint for Hardie products. And this isn't going to be any different for an Aspyre line or a regular 7/16 Hardie planks as well. So let's just clarify one thing. I wanted to talk about the OSI caulking, right? It's not married to the James Hardie at all. It's not married to that name, but they do have a lot of great color matches for their pre-painted materials. But you don't need to use the OSI caulking. I talked to the Hardie rep about this, and he was just very plain and simple about it. Whatever works for your project, right? So if you have a brand of caulking that you like better, we use 950A from Sherwin-Williams a lot. They don't have a spec actually on that caulking. So, but in particular, 950A you can't go wrong with. It bonds to the cement board of the Hardie really well. it's just a great product to use, and we've used it on this project. Thanks for watching the video on Aspyre Hardie, James Hardie products. If you have any comments, so be sure to get back to those, and make sure to like and subscribe.